Hey guys, welcome back and happy Wednesday, which means happy Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Dubai finale day, which I'm so shocked that the Dubai finale is already here. But all right, we're going to jump into it because, well, there are reports. Now, Erika Jayne, we know she's facing a $5 million trial from Girardi's creditors, but she's also being accused of being the largest beneficiary of the largest fraud in the state of California. This is wild. So we're going to break it down thanks to Reality Blur. But before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so bear with me, but from what we're hearing, Erika Jayne could be headed to trial over a $5 million case initially filed against her estranged husband, Tom Girardi, and his now defunct law firm, Girardi Keese. Now, Erika is attempting to have this case that has been filed dismissed, claiming that the agreement they allegedly made with Tom Girardi blatantly violated and did not comply with the applicable California rules of professional conduct. The firms are fighting back, demanding her request for dismissal be denied and asking for the case to go to trial. They want a trial. They want someone to be held accountable. And right now they're looking at Erika. With her help, Ms. Girardi's husband, Tom Girardi, and his son-in-law, defendant David Lira stole more than $100 million from clients and attorneys, like plaintiffs Philip Sheldon and Robert Finn, who referred the clients, and Ms. Girardi spent much of the money financing her lavish lifestyle, which we've heard this multiple times, and she still denies it, and her expensive, unprofitable dream to become a pop star. Ooh, ouch. Erika admits that she signed all the tax returns for her company, EJ Global LLC, which received at least $25 million from Girardi Keese and facilitated a massive tax fraud by her husband, and Girardi Keese. This is what they're saying. Erika now conveniently claims that she did not know anything. She just signed whatever she was asked to sign under penalty of perjury, gave whatever sworn testimony, she was asked to give, and didn't ask any questions to anyone, despite access to numerous attorneys and accountants. This is what the firm added. Now, I'm wondering, and I asked Emily D. Baker about this because people keep asking me, can Erika serve jail time? From what I've heard so far, I'm guessing no, because they would have to be able to put Tom Girardi in jail first, but since he has Alzheimer's and dementia, I don't think that that's going to happen. So if they can't put him in jail, I don't think they'll be putting her in jail. And a lot of people are comparing this to Teresa Giudice, who also signed documents and ended up serving time in prison because she signed whatever her husband told her to sign. As Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans may recall, the attorneys first took legal action against Erika in June, but their initial case requesting $5 million in damages was filed against Tom and Girardi Keese. According to the firm, they referred thousands of legal cases to Tom Girardi and his law firm, pursuant to an agreement to share in the attorney's fees paid when the case settled. However, when it was time to pay up, Tom Girardi did not pay up. That's what they're saying. They're like, we want our money back, and that includes the $5 million. Tom embezzled and redirected the funds to family members, friends, partners, lenders, and creditors, and used money to fund outrageously lavish lifestyles, for himself and his wife, Erika Jayne, who is better known as one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is what they're alleging. But Erika argued that this whole case, that she should be dismissed from this case with all allegations against her tossed due to the fact that the agreement they supposedly entered into with Tom Girardi was illegal. So there's like a little clause here that might actually get her out of this. And I'm curious if it will, but we don't know that just yet. There is no evidence, because it never happened, that Erika, a non-attorney, allegedly managed or directed the financial affairs of Girardi Keese, whether related to the transactions between Girardi Keese and the defendants or otherwise. This is what she added in court documents of her own. Now, this is the first time that she would be headed to trial. And from what we're hearing from other attorneys who have been covering this trial would be in September. She hasn't had to actually show up. She's been navigating all of this through her attorneys, probably through phone calls, Zoom calls. I'm not quite sure, but she hasn't actually had to show up. And the problem here is if they do bring her to a trial with the jury, I don't see the jury being able to look at her and be like, oh, wow. They're going to play the footage where she's like, it's expensive to be me. And they can subpoena all of the footage from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills where she's like, I don't give a fuck about anybody but myself. And the jury's going to look at her like, this woman has no empathy. Then they're going to look at someone like Joseph Ruy Gomez, or they're going to play the footage of the housewife and the hustler, and they're going to see that there are victims, widows and orphans, people who can't afford, to pay their rent, let alone any sort of lavish lifestyle, people who can't afford their medical bills, people who really trusted the Girardis in order to, or Tom Girardi and his law firm, in order to like help them navigate these awful situations, because most of these victims are victims of horrendous disasters. And the jury's going to see that. If in fact this does go to a trial, they will see that, and they're going to look at Erika and be like, we have no sympathy for you. I mean, I couldn't see a world where they're going to look at her and be like, oh, you're draped in diamonds. You're fighting for your earrings back after the judge ruled that you have to hand them over. And now you're trying to appeal that decision. You're fighting, to keep all of these lavish items because you're saying that they were gifts and not community property. You're on the show and you're talking about this and you're getting, schwasty pants. The jury's going to look at her like, is this an absolute joke? This has to be a joke. We are not buying her side. And I don't know. I'm just guessing. I have not been to a trial. I don't know what would happen. They might actually go in her favor. But if you go based off of, and I always kind of try to go based off of what I'm seeing on, our lives and our recaps and how people are responding and reacting to Erika, it's very, very seldom that I hear people say, give Erika a break. She didn't know anything. She's a victim of this. She's a victim of her husband. I don't hear that too often. I have heard it before. I had one woman who came up to me, and I don't want to say her name and put her on blast, but she saw me out at a hibachi dinner on Father's Day for my dad. And she walked up to me and she's like, hi, and I watch your YouTube channel. And I just wanted to say that I think that you should go a little bit easier on Erika. I hate that you go in on her so hard. And I'm like, it's not that I'm going in on her hard. I think at the end of the day, I'm just talking about all of these legal, cases that keep coming her way. And then when you watch her and it looks like she's expressing no sympathy or empathy for any of the victims, and then she's posting photos like her pinned to a cross, and that says Balenciaga, and with earrings that are draped down like those Chanel ones that most of the housewives wear backwards, and they say widows and orphans. When you're posting something like that, of course, people are going to look at you like, do you care? Do you have any sympathy? Or are you just trying to protect yourself and get out of this the best way possible? Because if I were Erika, I would have said from day one, listen, I didn't know anything about this. I just want to, I want to do whatever I can to help out, to help give back to the victims. I am so sorry. I had no clue this was going on. What do you need me to do? That's not, from what we know, it doesn't seem like that's how she navigated it. But listen, I'm not on the case. So guys, go ahead and comment below. I'm so curious to hear your opinions. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And tomorrow we'll be back with our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Dubai recaps. It's going to be a good one. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you so very soon. Bye, guys.